We're about to get compact and up close with this lens. This is a Viltrox 56mm f1.7 for the X mount series. And today we're gonna be doing an OnlyLens review. In full disclosure, Viltrox did send me this lens, but there was no monetary exchange and they have no input whatsoever on what I'm going to say about this lens. I'm just gonna give you my honest review on this lens for my OnlyLens review series. Since I like to be as honest and unbiased when it comes down to the series, so we're gonna go ahead and put this lens to the test, and I'm gonna give you a little bit of the rundown about it so that we have all the information that I think is valuable. So we're gonna talk a little bit about the boring part, which is talking about the specs about the focal range and as well of the pricing of this lens. This lens is a 56mm in the APS-C mode, which for full frame equivalent, it would be about 85mm when it comes down to the conversion of this lens. It shoots at an aperture of f1.7, which is really nice when it comes down to the APS-C line of lenses, because with the compression of the APS-C versus full frame, you wanna get a little bit more of that bokeh with the 1.7 style instead of having like a 2.8, at least in my personal experience. And this lens is actually quite affordable. It's $139, which you can see it on the Viltrox store or wherever else you can find it. And the cool thing about it, with the kind of price point to the style of the lens, it actually doesn't feel too horribly cheap. It doesn't feel the most obviously expensive, but comparing it to other Tamron lenses, having a little bit more like a kind of like a metallic kind of feel with the plastic, it is kind of nice on the hand when it comes down to having a smaller setup so that you don't feel like you're gonna break it. But at the end of the day, it is $139, so if you do break it, I don't think it'll be the end of the world, but nobody likes to just waste money either. But now that we've talked about the boring part, let's go ahead and see how this lens goes when it comes down to taking some portraits, since in reality, what I would use this for would be to pair it with my XE4 for more portrait style of content and photos and everything rather than the video part. But I'll still try to do a little bit of video with this camera. Just know, full disclosure, that it's not really a video camera, so I'll see how it performs just to get a little bit of an idea. All right, so we're gonna try to take some portraits using this little lens and see what kind of results we can get before hopefully the rain doesn't come. That's why we had to move over here right now, so let's try it out. The main thing I wanted to try with this lens is just to see how well the autofocus would work whenever I'm trying to take portraits up close, a full body, you know, just setting the model in that aspect. For me, it's just trying to get creative with the shots that I would normally do, as well as, you know, helping the model get on a little different place so I can take some portraits through the glass. I wanted to see how I could do with the autofocus, and I also did it with the manual focus, and it turned out pretty cool to use it in a different perspective. Well, I don't have an ND filter for this. I'm just gonna try to do a little bit of a video real quick just to kind of show you how it would be and kind of go from there, because, well, we'll just see how it turns out. This footage right here is handheld with the XE4, and like I said, there's no stabilization, so you get to see how it works. Right there, you guys have the recording of it. This is just a little bit of the behind the scenes. I had to put it on a tripod because this camera does not have any in-body stabilization, but you can see the way that it'll focus on her. So it's staying really relative focus. This is at f1.7, so actually at 2.8, so I'm gonna lower it to f1.7, and it's adjusting that way. So it looks pretty good to me right away. So now you know if it'll look good for video, if you have more of a video camera, since this one is not really much for that. A little of a test of her walking towards me. Go. That's a little bit of a test, just kind of having the autofocus follow her, and from what I can tell right now, it looked pretty good on camera. So just wanted to give those examples so that way in case you're needing to see if the autofocus is moving or anything like that. Didn't seem to be making much of that noise or hunting or anything, so far it sounds like it was fine. But I'll see more once I'm doing some post editing, if anything, if I can find, and I'll leave like a little bit of here that I said that yes, I did find it or not, but yeah. So those are the examples using this Viltrox 56mm lens. What did you guys think about the photos, and as well a little bit of the video, in case obviously you're wanting to know what the video's like, but obviously mainly more the photos. What did you guys think of it, and how did you think it performed? For me personally, I think for $139, it's gonna be a hard lens to beat because it really packs a punch for the size and as well for the cost. To me personally, the focus points on this was working really well with my Fuji X-E4, and to be honest, it's kind of hard to kind of say bad things about it. Is it going to be probably the most best performing with the autofocus and everything like how other lenses might be in the Fuji line? Probably not, but I still think for $139, it's kind of hard to beat for a little prime lens. It's a 85mm equivalent at an 1.7. I think that if you're on a budget or want to have a compact lens, this is going to be a great lens for you, especially with the APS-C line of lenses and just cameras in general. If you're wanting to dive into more of the photography side of things, you have more access to more affordable bodies and as well lenses. Right now, maybe with the Fuji line, you might have a little bit of a harder time finding some of the newer type of camera bodies, but in reality, a lot of their older generation type of lenses and also cameras work perfectly fine. So finding them in the aftermarket, never hurt anybody if you can't find anything new. But with that being said, I think with this type of lens, if you're looking to have a great little portrait lens to have with the compression and everything, you can't go wrong with $139. For me personally, I like to have a bit of compact lenses when it comes down to using APS-C type of cameras, especially because I want to have it with me wherever I'm on the go and just have it with me to take it like nice and quick, take some photos without feeling like I have the hassle of bringing something massive. There's a reason that I love my full frame line of setups, but I also love that APS-C feel of things where I can just go out with friends or go out for myself without feeling like I have to bring too much gear. And having now an 85mm equivalent of lens with this 56mm Viltrox lens, it's kind of really nice because it's really good to have a little bit of a difference. I've used a lot the pancake lens, the 27mm f2.8, and it's a really great lens because it's so much smaller than this, so it is kind of like a pocket-sized camera feel. But having a little bit more of the range with the 56mm is going to be quite a little bit of a game changer, especially for $139. That's probably the most wowing part for me, is that it's $139. It still feels pretty good, doesn't feel too cheap, but it also works quite dandy when it comes down to having good autofocus and everything. And I guess one of the little drawbacks that I think you'll probably run into with even cheaper lenses is just gonna be that it's not gonna be as dust and moisture resistant. Like right now, it's starting to pick up with a little bit of the rain, it's starting to sprinkle, and this camera itself is not really, weatherproofed, so I don't think this lens is gonna be much of a difference either, just so you know. But other than that, for $139, I don't think you can go wrong with it, and especially for the size, compact, lightweight. You'll get some firmware updates if they need to and everything, so that's something to consider when looking into this lens. So hopefully this review will help you out. Make sure to leave a comment below. What do you think about this little lens? Is this something that you would get for $139, or are you wanting to invest into something that's more prime type of, pricing and everything for your type of lenses? Please leave a comment down below. I would love to know your thoughts right down there. But with all that said and done, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, share this video with a friend. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.